So it's the bank holiday weekend in the UK and we've got extra days to come up and do stuff. Now, last week I was on about the price of compost. It's astronomical and it's making no dig a bit unfeasible now to keep on spending this much. So what we want to do this week is increase the amount of pallets for compost bins that we've got at the bottom, because I've got a friend who's got a pony, so I'm going to start collecting all of her manure so that hopefully I can gather a load and then next year I'll be able to put that down. And now we're going to start collecting up all the garden waste from our friends and bringing it up so that we can hopefully by autumn have quite a lot more compost. So that is the job for this week: increase the compost bin, get the brassicas back out after the slugs have eaten them, and we're going to try this week a bit of strolch for slug defences, and we're going to put out some beer traps as well. So moving on to the harsh methods, but I figured at least they'll die happy. Anyway, that's the job for this week. Oh, there you are coming up. I'll keep that. Hard work. So the slug battles continue, and what we're going to try this week is some strolch. It's not cheap, but it's straw and it's been mineralized with, might be iron, I'm not sure. Anyhow, we're replacing all the brassicas, and this is the perennial kale Taunton Dean. This was given to me by Charles Dowding. It's done really well, it's rooted beautifully, probably a bit root bound now, pot bound, but I'm going to put that in, and this one's getting a double layer of strolch because I don't want this to get eaten. Special gift. Good luck. So I've potted up the aubergines, peppers, two different types, but I don't remember which is which, and a little bit of basil sneaked in there. So they're sitting in there, hopefully it'll protect them from the wind, and they'll get some sun beating down, but I might have made a mistake because the sun seems to be shining on that one, so I might swap them over. Now, it's been a few days since we put the strolch down, so I've come back up to see how everything's faring, and it's a mixed bag really. Now in the greenhouse, everything's fine. So the tomatoes, basil, that's all untouched. And I've popped in a couple of cucumbers as well, so they look fine. Now the beer traps were a roaring success. So I'm going to refill those. I'm not going to show you the aftermath. It wasn't very pleasant, but there were quite a few in there. So they do like the beer, but I don't think that's really the best way to do it, because it's a bit of an exercise in futility. There are so many. I'm up here quite early in the morning and I'm literally tripping over the slugs. They're absolutely massive. I don't know if you've seen the film June with those great big sandworms, but you could literally slap a saddle on these things and ride them around the allotments. They are huge. So one of the comments that was posted last week was to try using nettles, chopped up nettles, because slugs don't eat nettles, and that might work. So I'm going to try that. I've got another little patch of ground that has got a lot of nettles growing, so I'm going to pick a load of those, chop them up and put them around the plants that are most dear to me and see if that works. And another nice method I like the sound of is to use, I call it sticky weed. I don't know what its actual name is, but if you make little wreaths out of sticky weed and put those in a collar around your stems, that can deter them as well. So I'm going to try some slightly friendlier methods. I'd rather deter them than kill them, but that said, there are so many. I don't know, they're just overflowing the allotments. I will keep trying with the kinder methods and keep the beer to a minimum. I'm chucking them on the compost heap. I'm pretty sure I've read that that's okay, and they'll just become part of the compost eventually. So they will return to the earth from whence they came. I think the other sensible thing is to use this year to really look at the things that the slugs eat and the things that they don't. So next year, I'm going to try and plan more carefully to grow things that they don't like so much. So I'll show you the things I am growing, and you can see exactly what they like and what they don't like. Now, the sunflowers are getting slightly destroyed. Since we put the strolch down, the two at the back seem okay. Verbena is untouched. Snapdragons aren't touched, and neither is the cosmos, which surprised me. I've got dahlias sprouting up, but I have protected those with strolch, so jury's out. They probably do eat them. Onions aren't doing too bad. They've had a little nibble off the top. I am starting to get flowers sprouting, so I'm not sure if I need to pull those now and eat them or leave them. I'm going to definitely leave some of them to grow because the flowers are beautiful and I can collect the seeds. They've left the potatoes alone, and the nasturtiums look happy. Now the salad leaves have been a shared feast between the slugs and us. These have gone and bolted, so I'm going to let those go to seed. Another one where the strolch hasn't worked. You can see the slime all over it. But the ones at the back are doing okay. And the one at the back there with the purple stem, that's Mr. Dowding's kale, and thankfully that's still looking intact. But it's not looking too bad, the brassicas, since we put the strolch in. There's a bit of destruction, but not too much. My raspberries are completely untouched. I'm going to get some net on here soon for the birds. I have to say, these ranunculus flowers are looking okay, and the rhubarb is not, this new leaf hasn't been munched, so the strolch seems to be working there. So the big question, does strolch work? Not according to this guy. I've got to get back now, I've got to go back to work. One of the things I think I need to work on next weekend is some height, because the allotment's looking very flat and I want to get a few more tall structures so I can start growing things up. So I'm going to think about that over the next couple of days, and that'll be my job next week.